A black kid whose father scrubs toilets in this building doesn't belong in my classroom. Dr. Richard Sterling crumples Samuel Stevens's paper and throws it at the 19-year-old's face. 200 students watch. He picks it up, tears it in half, drops both pieces on the floor. Harrington University, Boston's elite mathematics program. Samuel transferred from community college 3 months ago. His father mops these halls at night. Sterling taps the unsolved equation on the board. This problem? My Ph.D. student, Ethan Caldwell, Yale graduate, published researcher, spent 3 months on it. Failed. His voice rises. Even my Ph.D. student can't solve this problem. He faces Samuel. But you, cleaning our floors at night, you think you found an error? Samuel stands. His voice stays steady. May I show you, Professor? Sterling's smile turns cold. Let's watch you fail. What happens when everyone bets against the one person who actually knows the answer? Samuel doesn't move toward the board yet. First, you need to understand how he got into this room. 6 weeks ago, Samuel Stevens walked through Harrington University's gates as a student, Boston's elite mathematics program. He'd spent 2 years at community college maintaining perfect grades while working 40-hour weeks. His acceptance came with full scholarship funding, every checkbox that would later become ammunition against him. The mathematics department didn't celebrate his arrival. They tolerated it. Dr. Richard Sterling runs this place. 52 years old, department chair, Yale Ph.D. solved the Whitmore conjecture in 2008. Trained 14 Ph.D. students. 11 now hold tenure positions at major universities. His advanced number theory seminar is the gatekeeper. Excel here. Get recommendations to MIT, Stanford, Princeton. Struggle here, you're finished. Sterling believes pressure reveals character. That discomfort breeds excellence. His methods have produced exceptional mathematicians. They've also crushed students who thought differently, who didn't fit his narrow definition of talent. Samuel is one of 3 black students in Harrington's entire mathematics program. The other 2 warned him during orientation. Sterling tests you differently. Everything gets questioned. Just survive and move on. But Samuel isn't surviving. He's excelling. Because excellence is the only language that matters when everyone assumes you don't belong. His father, James, has worked janitorial services for 30 years. Currently employed at Harrington. Night shift, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. He mops these mathematics building floors, empties faculty office trash, cleans bathrooms nobody thinks about. James never attended college. Samuel's mother applied 3 times. Perfect grades. Rejected each time. She died when Samuel was 12. Breast cancer. No insurance. The medical bills destroyed everything they'd saved. Samuel found her college application letters last year. Her essays about studying mathematics broke something inside him, or built something. He carries 1 letter in his notebook as a bookmark. The scholarship covers tuition, not rent, food, books, or the laptop he needs. So Samuel works nights too. Different building, engineering complex, library, student center, 4 nights weekly, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m., then studies until 8 a.m. classes. He's filled 12 notebooks with original proofs over 3 years. Problems worked during bus rides, concepts explored during lunch breaks, equations developed while mopping floors at 2 a.m. Nobody has seen these notebooks. Showing them means inviting judgment, and judgment arrives whether you invite it or not. Sterling's seminar meets twice weekly, 35 students, mostly graduate level. Samuel is the only transfer student. From day 1, Sterling treated him differently. Not obviously, just small accumulated things. Samuel raises his hand, Sterling calls on him last. Samuel answers correctly. Sterling moves on without acknowledgement. Samuel submits homework. Sterling accuses him of plagiarism and makes him redo everything under office supervision. Other students noticed. Some felt uncomfortable. None spoke up. Sterling praises Ethan Caldwell constantly. Ethan's observations are brilliant insights. Ethan's questions are exactly right. Ethan came from Yale with family connections and prep school polish, everything Sterling values. Samuel represents everything Sterling fears. Change, different perspectives, the possibility that his methods aren't the only path to truth. 3 weeks into semester, Sterling introduced Problem C, a modified Goldbach partition problem on his office whiteboard. He'd refined it for 5 years. Graduate students attempted it. Visiting scholars examined it. Nobody solved it. Last year, Sterling assigned it to Ethan as a qualifying challenge. Ethan spent an entire semester, hundreds of hours, 2 professor consultations, computational software, complete failure. Sterling passed him anyway. Sometimes knowing when a problem is intractable is its own lesson. But the problem stayed visible, unsolved. A monument to difficulty. Campus legend grew. Sterling's impossible problem. Students walked past, saw the equation, felt inadequate. Then Samuel walked past during his janitorial shift. 3 a.m., Sterling gone. Just Samuel, his mop, that whiteboard. He stopped, stared, saw something nobody else saw. The constraint Sterling added made the problem logically impossible. Not difficult. Impossible, like finding a square circle. The equation couldn't exist in valid mathematical space. That's why Ethan failed, why everyone failed. They were solving something with no solution. Samuel photographed it, studied it on bus rides, worked it between shifts. 2 days later, he'd proven the impossibility. 3 days later, he'd corrected Sterling's formulation and solved the corrected version. He submitted his work thinking Sterling would appreciate the insight. Instead, Sterling threw it at his face. Now Samuel stands with torn paper at his feet. Stay silent and accept humiliation. Or walk to that board and prove everything. The room holds its breath. Sterling's smile is predatory. Samuel picks up both torn pieces, smooths them against his palm, then walks toward the board. Samuel reaches the board but doesn't write yet. Sterling stands with arms crossed, blocking half the space. "Before you embarrass yourself," Sterling says, "let me explain something to the class." He turns to the audience. Problem C has been presented at 3 academic conferences. Published mathematicians have examined it. My Ph.D. student spent 90 days on it. He looks back at Samuel. You've been at this university for 6 weeks. You work night shifts. You transferred from community college. What exactly makes you think you found something everyone else missed? The question hangs like a noose. Other students shift uncomfortably. This isn't teaching anymore. It's a public execution. Samuel's voice stays level. May I show my work, Professor? By all means. Sterling steps aside with exaggerated courtesy. Let's see what community college mathematics looks like. Scattered, nervous laughter. Samuel picks up chalk. His hand is steady. He doesn't start with his solution. He starts with Sterling's problem, writes it exactly as it appears on Sterling's office whiteboard, every symbol, every constraint, including the constraint that makes it impossible. This is your formulation, Samuel says quietly. The partition size limited to prime numbers only. Correct. Sterling's tone suggests Samuel just proved his incompetence. But Goldbach's conjecture deals with sums of primes, not partitions constrained by primes. Samuel underlines the constraint. This creates a logical contradiction in the upper bound. He writes quickly now. Shows how the constraint creates a paradox, how it asks for something that cannot mathematically exist. It's like asking for an even number that's also prime, excluding 2. Samuel continues. The constraint eliminates all valid solutions. The problem as stated cannot exist. The room goes completely silent. Students lean forward. Even Ethan is watching now. Sterling's face tightens. That's an interesting interpretation, but it's not interpretation. Samuel's voice cuts through. It's proof. That's why Ethan couldn't solve it. Nobody could. You've been presenting an impossible problem for 5 years. Someone gasps. Phones appear. This moment is being recorded now. Sterling's expression hardens. You're suggesting I don't understand my own problem. I'm showing you what's there. Samuel points at the contradiction on the board. The formulation has a flaw. Before Sterling can respond, a voice from the back speaks up. He's right. Everyone turns. Professor Catherine Moore stands near the door, visiting scholar from MIT, Fields Medal nominee. She's been observing Sterling's seminar for the department review. Moore walks down the aisle. The partition function constraint creates exactly the paradox he described. I noticed it last week but assumed it was intentional complexity. Sterling's face flushes. Catherine, this is a pedagogical exercise. It's a logical impossibility, Richard. Moore examines Samuel's work on the board. That's why Caldwell failed. No one could solve it. The problem doesn't exist in valid mathematical space. The room erupts in whispers. Ethan stares at his desk, face burning. Sterling stands frozen, his authority crumbling in real time. Samuel hasn't finished. I corrected the formulation, removed the paradoxical constraint, then I solved the corrected version. He pulls out his phone, shows the photographed whiteboard from Sterling's office. This is your original formulation before you added the prime constraint. I solved this version. Would you like to see? Sterling's jaw tightens. Every eye in the room watches him. He's trapped. Deny it and look like he's hiding something. Accept it and admit his 5-year problem was flawed. Qualifier problems are due Monday, Sterling says coldly. All 3. If you want into the Harrington challenge, solve something that actually works. Prove you can do more than critique. He's moving goalposts, but the damage is done. The room knows what just happened. Samuel just proved the emperor has no clothes. In front of 200 witnesses. What Sterling doesn't realize yet is that this is just the beginning. Samuel has 72 hours. Sterling posted 3 qualifier problems Friday afternoon. Solve at least one by Monday morning to enter the Harrington challenge, $50,000. Publication guarantee, graduate school placement. Problem A is elementary but tedious. Weeks of computation. Problem B requires expensive software Samuel can't afford. Problem C is Sterling's impossible equation, now public knowledge after what happened in class. Sterling made his intentions clear after everyone left. You want to embarrass me? Fine. Solve all 3. Prove you're not just a critic. Prove you belong here. The recording from class has already spread across campus. Students share it, comment on it. Did you see Sterling's face? That transfer kid destroyed him. Affirmative action hire got lucky. That last comment appears on every thread. Lucky. Not smart. Not skilled. Lucky. Samuel doesn't sleep Friday night. He works his janitorial shift, finishes at 3 a.m., goes straight to Boston Public Library when it opens at 6. His usual corner table. Notebook spread, laptop borrowed from the library's resource desk. The photographed whiteboard from Sterling's office shows problem C before Sterling modified it, without the paradoxical constraint. Still difficult, but solvable. Samuel starts with what he knows. Partition theory, gold box conjecture, generating functions. He's studied these concepts for years on his own, filling notebooks while riding buses, working shifts, sitting in apartments too small for the dreams they contain. He recognizes the structure. It connects to a 1988 paper by a Soviet mathematician nobody teaches anymore, Korobov. Samuel found the paper 6 months ago in the library's physical archives. Dusty, forgotten, brilliant. But Korobov's proof only takes it halfway. The final step requires something else, something modern. The probabilistic method. Samuel works it out on scratch paper first. Testing approaches, discarding failures, finding the path through. The probabilistic method proves something exists by showing it's more likely to exist than not. You don't construct it, you prove it must be there. He extends Korobov's work, bridges it to modern techniques, creates something original. By Sunday morning, he's solved problem C completely. 14 pages. Clean latex formatting he taught himself from YouTube tutorials. Then he tackles problem A. The tedious one, the one designed to take weeks. Samuel sees patterns others miss, shortcuts through computation, geometric intuition that makes algebra faster. He finishes it in 6 hours. Sunday evening, he submits both solutions, problem A and problem C, both complete, both correct. He hits send at 11 p.m. Sterling checks submissions Monday mornings at 8, before his rowing practice. Samuel knows this because he empties Sterling's office trash, sees the routine, the schedule posted on the wall. Monday morning, advanced number theory seminar. Sterling enters stone-faced. The class buzzes with anticipation. Everyone knows what happened Friday. Everyone saw the videos. Sterling sets his briefcase down, projects the submission results on the screen. Names redacted. 10 students submitted qualifier attempts, he begins. Most were adequate. Caldwell solved problem A admirably. Williams made progress on problem B. He pauses. The room leans forward. 1 student submitted solutions to both problem A and problem C. Whispers erupt. Problem C. Someone solved it? Sterling projects pages on the screen. Samuel's work. Name removed. Problem A solution is flawless. Efficient methodology. Clean execution. He changes slides. Shows problem C. As for this problem, the student first corrected my formulation. Removed the paradoxical constraint I had inadvertently included. Sterling's voice strains on inadvertently. Then solve the corrected version using an extension of Korobov's 1988 proof combined with probabilistic methods. Students stare at the equations. They're elegant, sophisticated, far beyond typical undergraduate work. A voice from the middle row. Wait, so the problem was actually impossible? Sterling's jaw tightens. The formulation had an unintended logical artifact. This student identified it, something my Ph.D. student and I overlooked. Ethan's face burns crimson. The comparison is explicit now, public, recorded. Sterling continues, voice hardening. However, this approach relies heavily on an obscure Soviet paper not in standard curriculum. I have serious questions about whether this represents original understanding or exceptional Google skills. The accusation lands like a slap. Plagiarism, cheating, the oldest weapon against students who don't fit. Catherine Moore stands from the back row. She's been observing again. Richard, the probabilistic extension isn't in the Korobov paper. That's novel work, and the correction to your formulation required seeing the logical impossibility instantly. Your Ph.D. student had 3 months and missed it. This student saw it in 1 class period. The statement is brutal, direct, undeniable. She just said it plainly. Samuel is sharper than Ethan, faster than Sterling. The room goes absolutely silent. Sterling stands cornered, his bias exposed, his methods questioned, by a Fields Medal nominee in front of his entire class. Which is why, he says slowly, despite my concerns about methodology, Samuel Stevens is qualified for the Harrington Challenge. He lists 9 other names: Ethan Caldwell, Jennifer Williams, Brandon Wilson, Amanda Davis, Nathan Cross, 4 others. No applause for Samuel, just stunned silence. Half the room processing what just happened, half the room already resentful. After class, students cluster around Ethan, consoling him, sympathizing. Samuel walks alone. One student, loud enough for Samuel to hear, "How did the janitor's kid outsmart Sterling's Ph.D. student?" Another, "I heard he used software. This is why we need academic integrity standards." Samuel keeps walking, doesn't respond, but the words follow him. They always do. Later in the hallway outside the building, Ethan approaches. His voice is low, controlled, angry. "You embarrassed me in there." Samuel stops, turns. "I just solved the problem." "No. You made me look incompetent. I spent months on that. You made it look easy." "Maybe you were using the wrong approach." Ethan steps closer. "Or maybe you got lucky. Round 1 is proctored, timed, isolated, no notebooks, no library, no tricks. Let's see how you do when it's just you and the problems." It's not a challenge, it's a threat. Samuel watches Ethan walk away, understands what's happening. This isn't about mathematics anymore. It's about proving he belongs. Again, always, forever. The Harrington Challenge starts in 6 days. The real test is just beginning. The Harrington Challenge isn't just a competition, it's a coronation. Every spring, Harrington's mathematics department crowns its champion, $50,000. Publication in Annals of Mathematics. Guaranteed placement at top graduate programs, 3 rounds, each more public than the last. Round 1 happens Saturday. Written exam, 3 hours, 6 problems, top 5 advance. The exam takes place in the main auditorium with audience seating. 200 people watch students work in transparent isolation booths on stage. Round 2 is collaborative. The 5 finalists work together on a single complex problem. 90 minutes, public audience. Winner determined by who contributes the key breakthrough. Round 3 is individual presentations. Each finalist presents original proof to a panel of 5 distinguished mathematicians, including a Fields medalist. Live streamed to universities nationwide. This year, MIT is watching, Stanford, Princeton. Because this year there's a story. The community college transfer who embarrassed the department chair, the janitor's son who solved the impossible problem. Social media has already decided Samuel is either a fraud or a genius, nothing in between. Sterling announced the format Monday afternoon, added one detail. To ensure academic integrity, Round 1 competitors will work in isolation booths with cameras. No reference materials, except one handwritten page of notes. The rule targets Samuel specifically. Other competitors have spent years accumulating knowledge through structured coursework. Samuel has what fits in his head and what he can write on one page. The social pressure intensifies immediately. Other qualifiers form study groups. They meet in the mathematics library after hours. They share practice problems. They quiz each other. Samuel isn't invited. When he asks to join, Ethan's response is cold. We need people who understand fundamentals, not Google scholars. The message spreads. Samuel is alone, isolated, exactly where Sterling wants him. But isolation has advantages. Samuel has been learning alone his entire life. Library books, online lectures, notebooks filled during night shifts. He doesn't need study groups. He needs space to think. Professor Moore finds him in the library Thursday evening. Sits down without asking. "Walk with me," she says. They walk through campus as sunset turns everything gold. Moore doesn't offer to tutor him, doesn't give him answers. "Sterling designed this competition 10 years ago," she says. "Know what he doesn't test? Geometric intuition, visual proof. He's pure analysis. Everything is algebra and limits." She hands him a book, Proofs Without Words. "Your notebooks. I've seen you sketching diagrams. Trust that." Samuel takes the book. "Why are you helping me?" "I'm not helping. You don't need help." Moore's voice is firm. "You need permission to trust yourself. There's a difference." She leaves him standing there, the book in his hands, the weight of expectation on his shoulders. Samuel's preparation happens in fragments, studying on bus rides between campus and his apartment, practicing proofs in his head while mopping floors. His single page of notes becomes a work of art, not formulas, diagrams, visual representations of mathematical concepts that make sense only to him. The resource gap becomes obvious. Other competitors have advantages Samuel can't match. Ethan has private tutoring from graduate students. Jennifer Williams has access to her advisor's personal library. Brandon Wilson's family bought him subscriptions to every academic database. Samuel has the public library until 9 p.m., his worn notebooks, his father's encouragement. Wednesday night, James Stevens finds his son sitting at their kitchen table at 2 a.m., notebooks spread, coffee gone cold. "You okay?" Samuel looks up, exhausted, anxious. What if they're right? What if I don't belong? James sits down. "Your mother used to say something. They can take everything but what's in your head. You got something they don't, son. You see things differently. That's not a weakness. That's your strength." Samuel stares at his father, the man who raised him alone, who worked nights so Samuel could focus on school, who never complained about the sacrifices. "Don't give it back," James says quietly. "Whatever you got up there, don't let them convince you it's not enough." The words hit different. Samuel isn't trying to prove he belongs anymore. He's proving they were wrong to doubt him. There's a difference. Friday afternoon, Sterling releases a practice problem for competitors to calibrate expectations. It's brutally difficult. Algebraic topology, graduate level. Samuel struggles with it for 3 hours, makes no progress. Through the mathematics building window, he watches Ethan solve it effortlessly in a study room. Self-doubt creeps in like poison. That night, working his janitorial shift, Samuel mops past Sterling's office. 2 a.m. Sterling works late. Through the door gap, Samuel sees the practice problem on the whiteboard, with the complete solution written out. Sterling gave his preferred students the answer key. The game is rigged. Samuel photographs the whiteboard, not to use the solution, to know with certainty what he already suspected. The system isn't fair. It never was. But knowing the game is rigged doesn't mean you stop playing. It means you play better. Friday night, Samuel makes a choice. His supervisor calls. "You're scheduled tomorrow night during the competition. Miss your shift, you're fired." Samuel chooses the competition, loses the job, calls his father. "Proud of you," James says simply. Saturday morning, round 1. The real battle begins. 6 days until everything changes. Samuel tracks them like a countdown to execution. Day 1, Monday afternoon after class. Samuel goes to the library archives, finds past Harrington challenge exams, studies patterns, 60% number theory, 30% topology, 10% wildcards. He focuses his preparation accordingly. That evening, his landlord calls. Rent is 5 days late. Samuel needs this month's paycheck, but round 1 happens Saturday morning. His shift is Saturday night. His supervisor already told him, "Miss it, you're replaced. We have a wait list." The math is simple. Compete or eat. Pick one. Day 2, Tuesday morning. Samuel arrives at the library when it opens. Professor Moore passes him in the periodical section. Their conversation looks casual. It's not. Sterling loves the Collette's conjecture, she mentions quietly. Forces it into every competition. Memorize the first 50 iterations. She walks away before Samuel can respond. He spends 6 hours on Collat's sequences, the patterns, the branches, the iterations that seem random but aren't. Tuesday afternoon, Ethan confronts him in the student union, 2 other competitors flanking him like enforcers. "Sterling's being generous letting you compete," Ethan says, not quietly. Students nearby stop to watch. "Don't embarrass the department." Samuel looks up from his notebook. "I qualified same as you." "No," Ethan's voice carries across the room. "You qualified because of affirmative action. I qualified because of skill." Phones appear, recording. This moment will be online within the hour. Samuel doesn't respond, just packs his things and leaves. But the damage spreads anyway. Social media ignites. Why is the DEI admit even competing? This is what happens when we lower standards. He'll fail Saturday and prove everyone right. The comments accumulate like poison. Samuel stops reading them, but knowing they exist is enough. Day 3, Wednesday. The breaking point and the turning point happen within hours. Morning. Samuel visits his father at work. James is cleaning the engineering building bathrooms. They sit on the loading dock during his break, share coffee from a thermos. James sees something in his son's face. "You thinking about quitting?" Samuel doesn't answer immediately. Then, quiet. "Maybe I don't belong here. Your mama used to say something." James stares at the campus buildings towering above them. She'd say, "They can take your money, your opportunities, your dignity, but they can't take what's in your head. That's yours forever." He looks at his son. "You got something they don't. You see math different, think different. That's not weakness. That's your weapon." Samuel feels something shift inside. He's been trying to prove he belongs. Wrong approach. He needs to prove he's better. There's a difference. Wednesday afternoon, strategy changes. Samuel stops trying to learn what others know, doubles down on his unique approach, visual thinking, geometric intuition, pattern recognition that bypasses traditional algebra. His single page of notes transforms. Not formulas, diagrams. Branching trees of concepts that make sense only to him. It looks like art. It's actually mathematics distilled to its purest form. Day 4, Thursday, 3 days out. Sterling releases a practice problem. For competitors to calibrate expectations, it's vicious. Algebraic topology, graduate level. Samuel stares at it for 2 hours, makes zero progress. Through the mathematics building window, he sees Ethan in a study room, solving it, effortlessly, writing confidently, finishing in what looks like 30 minutes. The comparison destroys Samuel's confidence. Maybe they're right. Maybe he's out of his depth. Maybe Saturday will expose him as a fraud. That night, 2 a.m., Samuel works his janitorial shift, mops the mathematics building 3rd floor. Sterling's office light is on. He works late, always. Samuel mops past the door, glances through the gap, sees the whiteboard. The practice problem, complete solution, every step written out. Understanding hits like ice water. Sterling gave his inner circle the answer key. Ethan didn't solve it in 30 minutes. Ethan memorized it. The game isn't just unfair, it's rigged. Samuel photographs the whiteboard, not to use the solution, to have proof, to know with certainty what he already suspected. The system is designed to keep people like him out, but now he knows, and knowing changes everything. Day 5, Friday, 2 days until competition. Samuel tests his visual approach on practice problems. It works. He solves 3 problems faster than traditional methods. His confidence rebuilds. Different, harder, angrier. Friday afternoon, his supervisor calls. "You're scheduled tomorrow night, the competition or the job, choose." Samuel doesn't hesitate anymore. "I'm competing." "Then you're fired, effective immediately." Samuel calls his father, tells him what happened. James Stevens is quiet for a long moment, then, simple. "Proud of you, son." No disappointment, no panic about money, just pride. It's enough. Day 6, Saturday, competition day. Samuel wakes at 5 a.m., shaves his head, ritual focus, clarity. He lays out his single page of notes, reviews it once, puts it away, trust. 6 a.m. He walks through Harrington campus, empty, quiet. Dawn light making everything look possible. He stands outside the auditorium, imagines his mother walking these paths, the one she never got to walk. Applies to college 3 times, rejected each time, died without ever getting this chance. Samuel is living the life she never could. That means something. That means everything. Meanwhile, the auditorium transforms. Staff set up 200 audience seats. Camera crews arrive, local news. This is the biggest Harrington challenge in years because of the controversy. Because of Samuel. Because everyone wants to see if he's real or fake. Sterling does a press interview on the auditorium steps. We're excited to see which of our top students emerges victorious. Translation: we're excited to watch the transfer student fail. Online, betting pools form. Actual money changing hands on whether Samuel makes it past round 1. The odds aren't in his favor. Social media splits, half supportive, rooting for the underdog, half dismissive, can't wait for this fraud to get exposed. Professor Moore reviews judging rubrics in her office, makes notes, ensures the scoring will be fair. She's seen what Sterling does, not today. Ethan Caldwell sits with his study group, confident, prepared, knows he's going to win, knows the competition is designed for people exactly like him. Samuel enters the auditorium at 8 a.m., 1 hour before start time, completely empty except for technical staff. He sits in one of the competitor chairs, center stage, under bright lights, breathes. This is where everything changes, one way or another. He stands, walks back out, needs air, needs space, needs to remember why he's doing this. In 1 hour, 10 competitors will sit in isolation booths, transparent, soundproof, cameras recording everything, 200 people watching live, thousands streaming online. In 1 hour, Samuel Stevens will prove he belongs, or prove his doubters right. The only question is, which story gets written today? 9 a.m. The auditorium fills rapidly. Students, faculty, local media. Someone set up a live stream. The view count climbs past 10,000 before competition starts. 10 isolation booths on stage. Transparent plexiglass, soundproof. Each competitor sits visible to everyone. Samuel is booth 7, center stage, exactly where Sterling wants him. The 5-judge panel sits at a table stage left. Professor Moore among them. Sterling stands at the podium. Head judge. He controls everything. Welcome to the Harrington Challenge Round 1. Sterling's voice fills the space. 10 competitors, 3 hours, 6 problems, top 5 advance. He pauses for effect. Lets the pressure build. This year's problems were designed collaboratively by our distinguished panel, not by any single judge. The twist lands quietly, but Samuel catches it immediately, sees Professor Moore's subtle nod. The panel intervened, demanded fairness, ensured Sterling couldn't rig the entire exam. This actually helps Samuel. He prepared for Sterling's analytical bias. These problems will be more diverse. Geometry, number theory, combinatorics, proof by contradiction, different thinking styles required. Competitors have 3 hours starting now. Begin. Samuel opens his exam packet, scans all 6 problems quickly. Triages, problem 1, number theory, basic, solvable. Problem 2, geometric construction, his strength, definitely solvable. Problem 3, combinatorial analysis, moderate difficulty, solvable. Problem 4, his breath catches. It's Collat's adjacent, but not straightforward, a meta problem. Prove or disprove. If the Collat's conjecture is true, then any sequence starting within less than 1 million reaches 1 in fewer than 200 steps. The problem requires 2 things: deep understanding of Collat's and computational bounds. Samuel has the first. The second seems impossible without software. This is Sterling's influence, his signature problem. Designed to separate memorizers from thinkers, designed to eliminate Samuel specifically. Samuel tackles problems 1 through 3 first, uses his visual methods, diagrams, pattern recognition, finishes all 3 in 75 minutes. Across the stage, Ethan works steadily, traditional algebra, methodical. He's on problem 5 already, confident. Samuel returns to problem 4, stares at it. The computational requirement seems insurmountable, then remembers. His single page of notes, the diagram of Collat's sequences, not every sequence, the patterns of branching. He doesn't need to compute every sequence. He needs to prove the upper bound exists structurally. Proof by contradiction. Assume a sequence starting under 1 million takes more than 200 steps. Trace implications through branching patterns. Show this contradicts known properties, therefore the bound must hold. It's elegant, original, exactly what Moore meant about trusting visual intuition. Samuel writes furiously. The solution flows. He finishes problem 4, starts problem 5. The cameras capture everything. The audience watches silently. Sterling's expression is unreadable. Moore leans forward slightly. Time expires. Pencils down. Samuel has completed 5 of 6 problems. Only problem 6 remains unfinished. It was beyond everyone. Judging happens overnight. Results announced tomorrow. Samuel walks out uncertain. Did enough? Or not? The waiting begins. Sunday afternoon. Results announcement in the department lounge, informal setting, but cameras still roll. The live stream has 20,000 viewers now. 10 competitors gather. Samuel stands near the back. Sterling holds a tablet with results. His expression reveals nothing. First, commendations to all competitors. The problems were intentionally rigorous. Sterling's formal voice. Advancing to round 2. He reads names slowly, deliberately. Ethan Caldwell. Expected. Ethan nods professionally. Jennifer Williams. Applause. Jennifer smiles. Brandon Wilson. More applause. Brandon looks relieved. Amanda Davis. 4 names called. 1 spot remaining. Samuel's heart hammers. His name hasn't been called. Sterling pauses. The silence stretches. Cruel. Intentional. The 5th position was intensely debated. One competitor demonstrated unconventional approaches that sparked considerable panel discussion. His tone makes unconventional sound like diseased. After extensive deliberation, the 5th finalist is Nathan Cross. The words hit like a physical blow. Samuel doesn't advance. Nathan Cross, who finished in 90 minutes using conventional methods, safe, traditional, white. Samuel's vision tunnels. The room spins. He lost his job for this, sacrificed everything for this, and it wasn't enough. Sterling continues. I want to address Samuel Stevens' submission specifically. He projects Samuel's problem 4 solution on the screen. This exemplifies a recurring issue. Raw intuition without rigorous training. He points at Samuel's geometric approach. Visual heuristics. Proof by contradiction using diagrams. Interesting, creative, but not mathematically rigorous by professional standards. The panel discussed at length. Ultimately determined it couldn't be accepted. Professor Moore interrupts. Stands. Richard, I scored that solution differently. The majority ruled, Catherine. Sterling's voice is steel. Samuel, you have potential. But competitions require polish you haven't developed. Continue your studies, perhaps next year. The condescension is palpable. The dismissal absolute. Public, recorded, permanent. Ethan doesn't quite hide his smirk. Other competitors look away. Samuel stands frozen. Humiliation, rage, defeat, everything he fought against vindicated. He walks out without a word. Outside, cold November air. Samuel sits on the building steps, hands shaking, calls his father. I lost my job for this. Didn't even make round 2. What'd they say was wrong? Not rigorous enough, too visual, not traditional. Samuel's voice cracks. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not ready. James is quiet, then firm. Was your proof right? Samuel thinks, goes through his work mentally. Yes, it was right. Then they didn't beat you, they just didn't understand you. But Samuel isn't convinced. Maybe Sterling is correct. Maybe visual thinking isn't real mathematics. Maybe community college didn't prepare him properly. Maybe he never belonged here. An hour later, Samuel packs his apartment. Can't afford next month's rent without the job. He'll have to leave Harrington, drop out, return to what everyone expected. His phone buzzes. Email. Professor Catherine Moore. Subject. You were robbed. Samuel opens it. Samuel. Your problem. 4 proof was mathematically sound and novel. I gave it full marks. Sterling overrode me, citing visual proofs lack rigor. A dogmatic view the mathematics community abandoned decades ago. I'm attaching my complete scoring breakdown. You scored 94 out of 100. Second highest overall. Nathan Cross scored 82. You were robbed. But listen carefully. Round 2 is team-based. Competition bylaws include a wild card rule. Any judge can nominate 1 eliminated competitor to return if they demonstrate exceptional insight. I'm in the audience Wednesday. Give me ammunition to work with. This isn't over. CM. Attached. Her detailed scoring. Every problem, every point. Samuel's total, 94 100ths. Second place behind Ethan's 96 100ths. Nathan's 82 100ths shouldn't have advanced. Sterling rigged it, overrode the scoring, eliminated Samuel deliberately. Samuel stares at the email. The proof of bias, the evidence of injustice, the opening Moore just gave him. Some games are rigged, everyone knows that, but some referees fight back. The question is whether you give up or keep fighting. Samuel stops packing, sits down at his laptop, opens his notebooks. He has 72 hours until round 2. Sterling thinks this is over. Sterling is wrong. When the game is rigged against you, you don't quit. You play harder. You play smarter. You force them to see you. Samuel has 3 days to prepare, 3 days to find his moment, 3 days to prove that being underestimated is the best weapon of all. The crisis isn't the end of the story, it's where the real fight begins. Wednesday evening, round 2. The auditorium is packed beyond capacity. 400 people in person, 25,000 streaming online. Word spread about Sunday's controversy, about Sterling's bias, about the transfer student who got eliminated unfairly. This isn't just a mathematics competition anymore, it's a reckoning. 5 finalists sit on stage. Ethan, Jennifer, Brandon, Amanda, Nathan. Chairs arranged in a semicircle. Large whiteboard behind them, cameras everywhere. Sterling stands center stage with the judging panel. He looks confident, controlled. This is his domain. Round 2 tests collaborative problem solving. These 5 finalists will work together on a single challenge. One of the Millennium Prize problems simplified. The Birch and Swinnerton-Dyer conjecture for a specific elliptic curve. 90 minutes. Winner determined by who contributes the breakthrough insight. The problem appears on screens. The audience murmurs. Even simplified, it's brutally complex. Sterling continues. However, our competition bylaws include a provision. If any judge believes an eliminated competitor deserves reconsideration, they may nominate that person to return as a wild card. The room shifts. Everyone knows where this is going. 10 minutes in, the finalists' argue approaches. Ethan sketches on the whiteboard. Classical algebraic method. Computational heavy. Jennifer runs calculations. Brandon checks references. They're making slow progress. Professor Catherine Moore stands. The audience goes silent. I nominate Samuel Stevens to return as a wild card competitor. The auditorium explodes. Gasps, applause, shocked reactions. Sterling's jaw visibly tightens. On what grounds? His voice barely controlled. His round 1 problem 4 solution was mathematically sound and innovative. I'm invoking my right as a panelist under Article 7 of the competition bylaws. Sterling's face hardens. The panel voted. You voted, Richard. Your documented pattern shows you've rejected every visual proof method for a decade. That's not rigor, that's bias. The words land like bombs. Public, brutal, true. The stream chat explodes. This moment is being recorded, shared, going viral in real time. Sterling has no choice. The wild card rule exists in writing. Moore is within her rights. Very well, Samuel, if you're present, join us. Samuel stands from the back row. Every eye tracks him as he walks down the aisle, each step echoing. He reaches the stage. The other finalists stare. Ethan's expression is pure hostility. Samuel looks at the whiteboard, studies Ethan's approach. Doesn't speak yet. Ethan breaks the silence, voice dripping condescension. Caught up yet, or do you need a tutorial? Samuel ignores him. Keeps studying. He's seen problems like this before. Months ago in Sterling's office. Related structure, similar approach. And he sees Ethan's mistake immediately. Samuel picks up chalk, starts a new section of board. His voice is calm, clear. The elliptic curve you're using. Y squared equals x cubed minus x. You're applying Birch-Swinnerton-Dyer assuming rank 1. Ethan's tone is dismissive. That's standard for this curve class. Except this specific curve has rank 0. Samuel writes rapidly, shows the generating function, which means your L function approach will always fail. The Mordell-Weil group is finite. Jennifer leans forward. Wait, how do you know it's rank 0? Samuel draws a geometric diagram, the curve visualized in the complex plane, points marked. Every rational point on this curve is torsion, no free generators, provable by checking a finite case set. He lists them. Test infinity points. Apply Nagel-Lutz theorem. Show explicitly only 4 rational points exist. All finite order. Therefore, rank 0. The room goes completely silent. Professor Moore stands again. Her voice carries excitement. He's correct. Richard, check his torsion calculation. Sterling approaches the board. Slowly, reads Samuel's work. His face drains of color. The calculation is perfect. Ethan's entire approach, 15 minutes of work, is fundamentally flawed. Sterling's voice is quiet, dangerous. This doesn't solve the problem. It only shows Caldwell's method fails. No. Samuel's voice is steady. It does solve it. If rank is 0, BSD for this curve reduces to finite calculation. I can solve it by hand. He turns to fresh board space. The audience is utterly silent. Even people streaming can feel the tension through screens. For 30 minutes, Samuel works, explains as he writes, his voice clear, accessible. Step 1, establish rank 0, already proven. Step 2, compute L function at S equals 1, finite series, 8 terms. Step 3, calculate Tamagawa numbers, local factors, only 2 bad primes here. Step 4, compute regulator, trivial since rank 0. Step 5, count torsion subgroup order, already found, 4 points. Step 6, show BSD formula holds, every number computable. Every step verifiable. He writes QED, steps back. The board is filled with his work, diagrams interspersed with algebra. Visual intuition bridging rigorous calculation. It's beautiful. It's correct. It's devastating. Samuel turns to Sterling. His voice is quiet but carries across the entire space. You said my proofs lack rigor. This uses Nagal Lutz, Mordell-Weil, BSD, all standard graduate tools. The only difference is I drew pictures first to see structure. Sterling stands speechless, trapped, his bias exposed on camera, his methods questioned publicly. Moore's voice cuts through. Richard, verify it. Sterling approaches, reads through Samuel's work. 30 seconds, 60. The entire audience holds collective breath. Finally, quietly, it's correct. The auditorium erupts. Applause, cheers, gasps. The stream chat floods. Phones recording everywhere. This moment will be replayed millions of times. Ethan sits down heavily, stunned. The other finalists look shell-shocked. Sterling tries to maintain control. Well, an impressive result. Congratulations to the team for... Moore cuts him off. The team? Richard, 4 of them worked the wrong approach. Samuel identified their error, corrected course, and solved it alone. That's not teamwork, that's dominance. I wouldn't characterize. I'm scoring this round. Samuel Stevens, 100 out of 100, sole breakthrough contribution. The others receive partial credit for initial attempts. Public, undeniable. Sterling cannot override her. She's the designated round 2 judge. Then Samuel turns to Ethan. His voice is calm. You're making the same mistake you made with problem C. Ethan's face flushes. What? Last year, Sterling's problem. You kept trying algebraic approaches on something needing geometric insight. This is the same. You compute when you should visualize. He points at his diagram. Problem C couldn't be solved with algebra because the constraint was geometrically impossible. This curve can't be solved your way because the rank is geometrically 0. See? No free generators. It's visual. Ethan realizes, understands. His approach is fundamentally limited. I didn't see it. I know. You're trained not to. That's not your fault. It's how you were taught. The statement is honest, not cruel, which makes it cut deeper. Because it's true. Sterling approaches Samuel, the moment captured by every camera. He extends his hand, voice tight but controlled. Congratulations. Your solution was exemplary. I underestimated not just your skill, but your entire approach to mathematics. That was an institutional failure. My failure. It's as close to apology as Sterling can manage. Public, recorded, permanent. Samuel shakes his hand. His voice is quiet, powerful. You underestimated my mind. There's a difference. Silence. The microphones catch everything. The stream replays it immediately. That line becomes the viral moment, the clip shared millions of times. The room erupts again. Applause. Some people crying. The underdog moment everyone craved. But Samuel's expression doesn't change. This isn't victory yet. Round 3 remains. The final presentation. The real test. What just happened isn't the end. It's proof that the beginning was wrong. That assumptions were false. That the person everyone dismissed was the one who understood deepest. The status flip is complete. The janitor's son just schooled the entire department, on camera, in front of thousands. Undeniably. Permanently. And Sterling has to live with knowing he tried to stop it. Thursday morning. Samuel's round 2 performance isn't just viral, it's everywhere. Mainstream media picks it up. Community college transfer stuns elite math competition. The clip of his final line hits 2 million views in 24 hours. The consequences arrive rapidly. 15 mathematics professors from universities nationwide email Harrington's dean. They watch the stream. They have questions. Why was Samuel eliminated from round 1 if Professor Moore scored his work as valid? Why was Sterling allowed to override panel scoring? The dean calls an emergency meeting, demands answers. Sterling's bias is now documented. Public, undeniable. Meanwhile, Professor Moore does something unexpected. She releases her original Round 1 scoring sheet publicly. With Samuel's permission, shows Samuel scored 94, second highest overall. Nathan Cross scored 82. The competition was compromised by a single judge's prejudice against non-traditional methods, her statement reads. Academic Twitter explodes. Sterling issues a forced response. After review, I acknowledge Samuel Stevens's Round 1 submission was mathematically sound. My assessment reflected personal preference for traditional proof structures, which was an error in judgment. It's not a full apology, but it's public acknowledgement, permanent record. The competition board convenes emergency session. Their announcement comes Thursday afternoon. Due to scoring irregularities in Round 1, we are retroactively advancing Samuel Stevens to Round 2 as originally intended. His Round 2 performance stands. For Round 3, we are implementing blind judging. Judges will not know competitor identities during presentations. Round 3 changes everything. 5 competitors now. Samuel, Ethan, Jennifer, Amanda, Brandon. Nathan is removed. Blind judging means pure merit. Each competitor presents an original proof, identity concealed, judged solely on mathematical content. That afternoon, Ethan confronts Samuel in the hallway. His voice is low, controlled, still angry, but different now. You got lucky Wednesday. Round 3 is about originality. What have you got that's actually yours? Samuel pulls out one of his worn notebooks, the ones he's filled over 3 years. Original work, problems nobody assigned, proofs nobody requested. Mathematics for its own sake. More than you think. Ethan sees the notebook, filled margin to margin, realizes Samuel isn't just smart. He's been doing original research for years, while working night shifts, while being dismissed, while everyone assumed he didn't belong. Round 3 is 2 days away. The final test, the real coronation. And now, everyone knows. Samuel Stevens isn't just competing, he's dominating. Friday evening, Round 3. The auditorium at maximum capacity, 600 people in person, 50,000 streaming. This is national news now. The story everyone wants to see concluded. 5 finalists present original proofs, one by one. Identity concealed, blind judging. Competitor A, Ethan. Solid work on prime gaps, competent derivative, polite applause. Competitor B, Jennifer. Innovative graph coloring theory. Strong, impressive, stronger applause. Competitor C, Amanda. Elegant topology proof, narrow application, respectful applause, competitor D. Brandon. Solid number theory contribution, professional applause, competitor E. Samuel's turn. He steps to the podium. The panel has only his written submission. No name attached. My proof addresses a 40-year-old open problem in partition theory, extending Ramanujan's partition congruences to a new infinite class. For 15 minutes, Samuel presents, uses the board. Combines visual diagrams with rigorous algebra, explains every step accessibly. The audience, even non-mathematicians, understands his thinking structure. He finishes. Questions. The field's medalist on the panel speaks. This is extraordinary. Where did you develop this? Samuel's answer is simple. Boston Public Library. Over 3 years. Between shifts mopping floors at this university. The room goes silent. Then thunderous applause. People standing, some crying. The revelation hits everyone simultaneously. The panel deliberates 10 minutes, returns. The winner of the Harrington Challenge by unanimous decision, competitor E. Samuel Stevens. The room explodes. Samuel stands stunned. His father James is in the audience, tears streaming. Professor Moore beams. Sterling sits motionless. Sterling approaches Samuel on stage. Every camera captures this. He extends his hand. Congratulations, your proof is remarkable. I was wrong about you. Samuel shakes his hand. You weren't wrong about my methods. You couldn't see past your expectations. Sterling nods slowly. Perhaps that's a lesson I needed. It's not villain defeat, it's human growth, imperfect but real. Samuel receives everything, $50,000, publication guarantee. Within hours, 15 graduate programs reach out, MIT, Stanford, Princeton. He chooses MIT to work with Professor Moore months later. Samuel teaches community college mathematics. His students are black, brown, first generation, kids who look like him. One asks, "Can I make it to grad school?" Samuel hands him a notebook. Fill this, then show them. Final image. Samuel walking through MIT campus, carrying worn notebooks now labeled Volume 14. Still the same person. But the world finally sees him. Your mind is your freedom. Your work is your proof. When you know you're right, don't wait for permission to show them. If this story moved you, share it. Someone needs to hear their mind matters. Their voice counts. They belong at every table they can reach. Comment below. Who underestimated you? How did you prove them wrong? Subscribe for more stories of people who refuse to be invisible.